To our math lesson. We're going to go ahead and start by taking a number, a 3-digit number, and writing it in expanded form. So you need to get something to write on and something to write with. All right, I want you to write the number 459 in expanded form. Remember, when we're writing in expanded form, we're taking the value of each digit and expanding it, writing those digits to show that when we add it together, we get our total, okay? All right, let's go ahead and let's check. So here, how many hundreds do we have? We have 4 hundreds. How many tens do we have? 5 tens. And how many ones do we have? 9 ones. All right, so let's go back and look at the value of each digit. So how much is 400s worth? 400. How much is 5 tens worth? 50. And how much is 9 ones worth? 9. So 459 is equal to 400 plus 50 plus 9. Great job. Let's do another one. All right, go ahead and write 456 in expanded form. All right, let's check. How many hundreds are there? 4 hundreds. How many tens are there? 5 tens. And how many ones? 6 ones. All right, now let's go and let's talk about how much that's worth. How much is 4 hundreds? 400. How much is 5 tens? 50. And how much is 6 ones? 6. So 456 equals 400 plus 50 plus 6. All right, now let's go ahead and let's focus on our learning target. Remember, our learning target is what it is that we need to be able to know and be able to do. I can compare two 3-digit numbers using the values of each digit and record the results using inequality symbols. So let's look at that word compare. Compare means to decide if a number's amounts or sizes are greater than, less than, or equal to each other. Okay? So let's look at greater than. When we're comparing something to see which one has a larger total, we use the greater than symbol to compare when the first number is greater or the first quantity is greater than the second. We can also use the less than inequality symbol to describe things. We use the less than inequality symbol when we're describing something when the first thing is smaller than the second. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead and let's look in our Ready Math books on page 353. 353. All right, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start by reading a word problem. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and let's start. It's right above the paintings here. These 2 paintings are in the school art contest. Which painting has more votes? All right, so how many votes does painting A have? Painting A has 467 votes. How many votes does painting B have? 463 votes. All right, let's read it again to see what it is that we need to find out. These 2 paintings are in the school art contest. Which painting has more votes? I want us to look at that word more. More is used when we are comparing data. More is used to compare things against the term less. So we want to know which one is more, or another word for that is greater. Okay? All right, so I want you to go ahead and try it. Tell us which painting has more votes and be able to explain how you know. All right, let's go ahead and let's talk about these two numbers, 467 and 463. How are these two numbers the same? They're the same by their hundreds and their tens, aren't they? Well, how are these numbers different? They're different by their ones, aren't they? So how does comparing each digit in the number help you find the greater number of votes? I want you to pause the video and talk to someone about that. All right, so we know that our largest digit has the largest value. And if we start with our largest digit and compare those, then we automatically know which one has the greater votes, right? So we can go through each place to find the difference in the numbers to know which one has a greater vote. Now let's look here. You probably already know which one has a greater vote, but I just want us to look at this a little bit deeper so that you can compare what you did with the way that they explain it here. Okay? So let's look at the picture it. So you can quickly show the numbers by completing a quick drawing. So 467 has 4 hundreds, 6 tens, and 7 ones. 463 has 4 hundreds, 6 tens, and 3 ones. You could also model it in a place value chart. 400, 6 tens, and 7 ones in the number 467. 400, 6 tens, and 3 ones in the number 463. So I want you to look here at the picture it and the model it and the way that you chose to explain how you knew which number was greater. Where does each model show 400s and 6 tens? Where does each model show that? Well, the drawing shows it here, 400s and 6 tens. And the model shows it in the hundreds place and the tens place, doesn't it? The digit in the ones place is the only digit that's different, isn't it? So the number that has the greater amount of ones is the number that's going to be the greater number, isn't it? All right, so if we look, we have 7 and 3 ones. Which one of those numbers has a greater value, 7 or 3? Yeah, the 7 does, doesn't it? And you can see that in the picture here in the ones place. Now let's go ahead and let's flip our page over to page 355. 355. All right, so let's go ahead and let's look at question number 1. Which place do you need to look at to compare the number of votes? Why? So when we're comparing numbers, we always start with our greater place. Well, what do we do when our hundreds place is the same? We go to our tens place. What do we do if our hundreds and our tens place are the same? Yes, then we have to go to our ones place. So for this one, we have to go and we have to look at our ones place to compare the number of votes. Why do we have to go to our ones place? Yes, because the number of hundreds and the number of tens are equal. Great job. All right, now it wants us to complete two different comparisons of 467 and 463. Now, we talked about 7 ones being greater, so we know that the number 467 is greater than the number 463. So let's write that, recording our results in our learning target using these inequalities. So remember, the larger side of the inequality is used to go towards the greater value, okay? So here we use this first inequality symbol when our first total, our first number, is greater than our second. So we would say 467 is greater than 463. All right, the second inequality symbol is the less than symbol because that first, the first number is smaller or less than the second one, okay? So here we would say 463 is less than 467. Why can 467 and 463 be compared in two ways? I want you to pause the video and talk to someone about that question. All right, let's check it. So we can compare that by saying that 467 is greater than 463. And we can say 463 is less than 467. And that still tells us that 467 is larger than 463. So which painting has more votes? How do we know? We know that painting A, remember that's answering that question, painting A has more votes. Why does painting A have more votes? How do you know that? We know that because we can compare those two numbers, and we know that 467 has more votes than 463. All right, guys, now we're going to reflect on our learning target again here and think about which model or strategy do you like to think about when comparing your numbers? Do you like to use a picture? Do you like to use a place value chart? Do you like to use expanded form? Okay, I want you to reflect on that question. Okay? All right, now I want you to look over at page 356 in your Ready Math book. Here it gives you several practices to compare two 3-digit numbers. Okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to go through and complete number 6 on your own. When you're done completing number 6, I want you to unpause the video and check your work. All right, so let's look at A, 264 and 462. Which one is greater? 462 because it has 400s compared to 200. So we're going to use the less than inequality symbol. 264 is less than 462. All right, now let's go to B. That's the one right beside it. 372, 379. Let's compare. They both have 300s. They both have 7 10s. One has 9 ones. One has 2 ones. We know that 9 is greater than 2. So 372 is less than 379. All right, C. 954 compared to 950. They both have 900s. They both have 5 10s. One has 4 ones. One has 0 ones. So which one is larger? 4. So we would say 954 is greater than 950. All right, now let's go to D. 876 compared to 867. Let's start with our hundreds place. They both have 800s. One has 7 10s, one has 6 10s. Which one is larger? 7 10s or 6 10s? 7 10s is larger. So 876 is greater than 867. All right, let's look at E. 718 compared to 788. They both have 700s. One has 1 10 and one has 8 10s. So which one is larger, 1 10 or 8 10s? 8 10. So we would say 718 is less than 788. Now let's go to F. 653 compared to 553. Let's start with our hundreds place. 600, 500. Which one's larger? 600 is larger. So we would say 653 is greater than 553. Great job, guys. Kiss your brains. All right, now let's go ahead and let's do number 7. Write 2 different ways to compare 772 and 774 using less than and greater than. So think back to the number 2 over here that showed 2 different comparisons. I want you to go ahead and do number 7 on your own. When you are done, then you may unpause the video. All right, so let's first figure out which one's larger, 772 or 774. They both have 700s, they both have 710s, but their ones are different. 4 ones and 2 ones. I would much rather have $4 than $2. So we can say 772 is less than 774. That's one way to write it. Now we can use the greater than symbol. 774 is greater than 772. Okay? All right, now you're going to do number 8. Hope and Sarah are collecting pennies. Hope has 189 pennies. Sarah has 186 pennies. Which comparisons are correct? So do you see where it says which comparisons are correct? That means there's probably going to be more than one. So look at all of the different comparisons to make sure that you find them all. Hope and Sarah are collecting pennies. Hope has 189 pennies. Sarah has 186 pennies. All right, go ahead and pause the video and complete. And when when you are finished, you may check. All right, so let's start by looking at these 2 numbers, 189, 186. They both have 100. They both have 8 10s, so we have to look at the ones place. 9 ones and 6 ones. Which one's greater, 9 ones or 6 ones? 9 ones is greater, so 189 is larger than 186. So let's look. 189 is less than 186. That's not true. 186 is less than 189. Yes, that's true. 189 is greater than 186. That's true. 186 is greater than 189. No. 186 is equal to 189. No. So the correct inequalities are B and C. All right, guys, so I want you to go ahead and take a minute to reflect on our learning target. Think about how you felt yesterday compared to how you feel today. How do you feel about comparing 3-digit numbers and recording those results? Are you a 1? You can do it all on your own, no help. I'm sorry, a 1 is I need a lot of help. 2, I'm okay. 3, I can do this and I can teach this to someone else. All right, so I want you to think about rating yourself on how you feel with this learning target. All right, guys, as you continue practicing with the next page, think about how you feel and think about your successes as you go forward.